Good evening and welcome to the great city of Opa-locka regular commission meeting. Tonight is Wednesday, October 26, 2022. The time is now 7:14. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Here.
Commissioner Bass. Here. Mayor Williams.
I'm here. Please stand for the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father who art in heaven, holy is your name. Father God, we bless you. We thank you for the opportunity, oh God, to serve. We thank you, Lord God, for our community. We thank you, oh God, for everyone who's here tonight. Father God, may you grace us, oh God, with love, peace, wisdom, revelation, and understanding. In your name I pray. Amen.
Madam Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements?
There are none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any pulls or deferrals or deletions from the consent agenda? Okay. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any add-on items, agenda items?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have a request to amend the agenda as follows. This item will be included as 14-1. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, accepting and approving the FY 2019-2020 audited financial statement and annual financial report, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This item is sponsored by the interim city manager and will be included as 14-1.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve agenda item 14-1?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez, second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Can I have a call for a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez, second by Commissioner Davis. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the second budget hearing minutes from October 5th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes, October 5th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any District 1 or District 2 County Commission reports?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any public presentations?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have one public presentation, and that would be Mr. Rob Hammer. He's with Humane Animal Removal Services.
Mr. Hannah? You can come up. Thank you to the.
Thank you. I apologize for being underdressed. I'm kind of embarrassed, but it is what it is. I was contacted by one of your counterparts in reference to chickens and roosters. This is a problem that is growing exponentially here in Miami. We can solve the problem come in, trap them. We don't shoot them. We don't eat them. We take them to a farm. If I do this job or somebody else does this job, you will still get a lot of feedback from people that are very angry. Okay. I do Hialeah. I do Miami, the city of Miami. We did 320 chickens 2 weeks ago. Sometimes it becomes very problematic. I don't have a problem doing the job, but you all are going to be the ones that everybody's going to scream at. So like I said, I don't have a problem doing it whatsoever. If you're all looking to save money, I don't have a problem training any of your people how to do it. This is not rocket science. I can teach your people how to do it, and you can do it yourselves. It's a pretty simple process. We do ducks and chickens and roosters, which are it's bad and it's getting worse. So, most of the people don't care about the chickens, but they are going to care about the roosters. So, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I'll be more than happy to help you.
Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
No problem.
I do have a question,
Yes.
right here.
Okay.
Would that be, the fowl that's caged or the fowl that's uncaged that you catch?
Okay. From a legal standpoint, I cannot go onto your property and take anything without your permission. Doesn't matter what it is. In Dade County, chickens and roosters are not allowed to roam free, so I can run and catch them and put them in my cages and off they go. If you have a chicken coop in your backyard, absolutely not. I cannot touch it. Maybe your animal services / your police department can do that, and I can help that, but I am not about to open up somebody's chicken coop and do that.
No, understood. Of course, we know the rights of citizens. I just want to make sure that question. But like you said, those that are running free that are out, correct?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes. Do you have an approximate number of chickens that are in this area? I mean, are there 20? Are there 200? We've done Pompano
Ms.
Beach, we've
Wilcox
done over
probably.
2,000. So it's what I'm saying. You need to knock the problem out now while it's not a real bad problem.
Did you want to?
Anybody have questions? I apologize. I've never done this before. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be getting questions from this angle or this angle. Oh, I'm sorry.
Women Wilcox, Code Enforcement. To answer your question about the numbers, is unpredictable, but I can probably say around 200 with no problem throughout the city consistently. And there, of course, it's going, coming, you get them and they're gonna come back somehow. And to answer your question about the cages on the properties, Madam Mayor, that would be code enforcement. And
Yes.
we do enforce the ones that we find that are in the backyards that are caged because they are not allowed based on the code. So that we can handle. The other ones for the roaming, that would be in with his company.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, if you can please read into record the quorum policy for Citizens Forum.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Shabani Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And Madam Mayor, we do have former Commissioner Dorothy Johnson, who will be speaking virtually.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is open. At this time, we will go to our room.
Hello?
Ms. Johnson?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I'm getting a lot of static, but thank you for, my name is Dottie Johnson. I reside at 13724 Northwest 22nd Place in Opa-locka. I know I'm getting a lot of feedback. I would like to suggest to the body that all legislation which impacts the quality of life must be enhanced by community involvement.
Ms. Johnson, it sounds like you have two things going at the same time, and we can't hear you. There's a lot of feedback.
Okay. So I can't turn off Zoom. My phone is off.
So they said log off and log back in.
Okay. Thank you.
Citizens forum is open.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. My name is Luis Santiago. I live in 1156 Perry, Opera Street. And tonight I'm here with a group of citizens, resident owners, that they like to make an acknowledgement to one of the commissioners for this chamber. We know and we want to recognize that she's doing a very great job here in the city. It's not only her, it's many of you. I think that you do a very good job here in the city right now. But Commissioner Bass, she does something beautiful and great in my neighborhood. The other day, we had a big emergency by Perry Street, between Ama and 27th Avenue. Madam Mayors and Commissioner, I think that I understand some of the words that Commissioner Daddy Johnson tried to say to us tonight. It is when the city tried or the commissioner tried to bring something for the resident of the community, let it know the community before anything happened. We have a big emergency, Madam Mayor. I don't know if you heard about it. A company for Dade County, that's what they say no, it's for the city, going to do a test for the sewer system. And the problem what happened is nobody know about it. And by that neighborhood, we have people here that they can tell you this true. We have many old people sick that they depend on machine to breathing. Thank God the two of them, they're not that day in the house, they be in the clinic, doing some tests. And everybody for the neighborhood, they go crazy because we believe that we have a fire in the whole neighborhood. And that is smoke coming out through the toilets, to the sink, to the ground, to the roof. And nobody have a know, Madam Mayor, about what happened or what's going on. And that proves is because I know Commissioner Bass is be very honest with you. And that's today I want to say that she have our support here in the great city of Opa-locka. I hope you stay another 4 years here in the great city of Opa-locka. She's the one, after I make a couple of calls, nobody responding to me. But when she take over the case, a lot of response coming from the city. Please, let it know us before they're gonna do something, sending decent, and we human too, a note for that kind of test that anybody wanna do in the city. We not, I don't wanna call in the name, but we humans, We human, we don't need to be fumigated. Another thing is now over my 3 minutes? Not yet? Okay, very fast.
Yes, it is.
Is it is?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but it's gonna be next time. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor and Commissioner.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Lochner Gillis, and I'm a pastor. And I'm living on 1216 Shower Avenue. And I come on this meeting because I have a questions. It has really hurt my feeling. And that's the reason I come here. So we all looking for the best on that city. Let's say when we recognize an officer, is a good officer. So we, the citizen of that city, we feel good about it because we know we're well protected. So I got one of the officers, he was a captain, that's Mr. Steele. So I got a good testimony about him. I got a friend of mine, so we are living, we are living together. So he's a plumber. So he was looking for a job. He couldn't find a job. You know, he met Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele asked him, how can he help him? And he explained his situation to Mr. Steele. And Mr. Steele lead him to have a job. Now he's a vendor. So Mr. Steele proved he's a good citizen, he's a good police officer. So he do a good job in the city. So I live in the city since 1985 on one house. I never moved. That's been since 1985 I live on my address. So I think is not really, I don't know what's going on inside of the department. But Mr. Steele, I can talk for him. So I don't know how the city, the mayor can help him out because I know he's got a family. So now it's very hard for a person who would have 16 years in the position and to lose his job like that. I don't know what's going on. If somebody says something, you know, I mean, you know, so bad about him. A lot of time people lies. People say things that are wise, not true. I'm a pastor. I know how things works. You know what I mean? So we can go what people say. We can go by rumor. Except if we got a proof of something, it's different. But when we hear, it's not the same. It's very different. So we can judge people by the hearing. We can judge people by the vision, what you see. So today I come on behalf of Mr. Steele to ask the city, or that's not any police are here. So I know we got some good police on that city. I know that. Because anytime we call, anything happen, they prison, they come. They do their job. So we appreciate the citizen. 16 years, that's a lot. Lose a person working for 16 years. I can't say it's unfair. I can't say that. I don't know if there are people can reproach him about something he did wrong, but for myself, I recognize Mr. Steele is a good police officer.
Thank you so much. That's your time.
Okay.
Hello to each and everyone. I live in Opa-locka. I've been living in Opa-locka since 1995. I'm a resident of Opa-locka. I live at 221 Aladdin Street, Opa-locka. There are certain requests that I have been asking. Certain people know because I spoke to them about certain things that's happening in my neighborhood that I do not like. And I also spoke to the officers about it. I asked the office, I went to the police department and asked the police to do ride around in my neighborhood certain times. I haven't gotten that yet. Certain transactions going on in my neighborhood that I do not like. I request help for it and nobody done anything about it. So I'm trying to find out, who do I talk to now? If I can't get you all help, who help can I get?
Madam Mayor,
Um, as the manager, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your concern. One of our officers, Captain Alvarado, will speak to you about your concerns now.
All right, citizens forum is open.
Hi, good evening. My name is Celia Pruitt. I reside at 2350 Northwest 141 Street. First, I would just like to pause a minute and commend Chief Israel, Captain Alvarado, and Sergeant Jacksonville Paez. The issue I had with the house that was few houses down from me was an incident that took place. And I'd rather not get all into details about it, but they came in full force and they handled business professionally. And wasn't, they make sure everyone was safe and they did what they needed to do. So I would just like to commend them for doing that. And also too, I have noticed more police presence in my area. So I thank you all for that. So thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna keep it real short because I know it's election year. So I get you all, whoever's in the seat, I get you after the election. But just a few. I'm still requesting on the canal banks, our essential workers, and I'm hoping that they have now been properly compensated because they are essential to us in the city of Opa-locka. But I do need for the canal banks, the loose papers to be picked up. I'm encouraging my neighbors to go out and on the canal bank and pick up in front of their homes, and I do as well. Also too, I noticed by the Family Dollar parking lot here on 27th Avenue is some trash bags and everything, and it's been there for quite a while. If we can get that picked up, because once you come past Northwest 151st Street and you look over to the right, it's an eyesore. That needs to be cleaned up. If you all can give priority to that, let's get our house in order, as I mentioned before. And therefore, if we can do that and everybody be on board, then we can start inviting businesses to come in. But we need to make it look appealing first. You don't want to bring them into a mess. You want them to be able to come in and let that revenue, flourish. But we need to get our house in order, and let's get this city cleaned up, because soon as you pass 151st, you know where you are. And we need to let our city look just as nice as the others and enforce some laws. The businesses, make sure that they keep their businesses, their areas clean too. We need to demand that from everyone. If you live here, make sure everything is presentable. Okay, and that's about it. I'm gonna go light today. Thank y'all very much.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, everyone in their respective places. I want to talk to you tonight about seeing the good fruits in someone. Now, I'm going to make it clear who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the city manager, Darvin Williams. This man, we see the fruit of the Spirit. Charity, love, faithfulness, self-control. There's people that come up here and talk about people. I'm talking about the evidence, the proof of what we see. We see the change that this man had brought to the city in the short amount of time that he was here. Compared to people that's been here for how many years, 16 years, whatever the years are. This is a man of God. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. And there's still so much more for him to do if we allow him. This man does not only care for a selected group or just a so-called clique. This man cares for the city. I saw what he did for the people at the Opa-locka flea market. I saw what he did for someone that was no longer even working here, but fell on hard times. He showed charity and showed love. So what I'm saying is that as the president of the union, John Bernard, 780 Fisherman Street, I work at the city of Opa-locka, I'm also the president of the union support Commissioner Darvin Williams. The people support Commissioner Darvin Williams. I know the camera can't see behind me. All I can see is me up here, but behind me is many officers support him. Men in blue, women in blue, putting their lives on the line every day for this city. And I do say to them, thank you. God is saying that this is a season of healing if you allow it to happen. Jesus said to the disciples, a house divided would not stand. Do not allow people to come here, keep coming here in this great city of Opa-locka and to cause division. May the people of God rise, may the church rise, and may our enemies be scattered. And I say to the Commissioner Darvin Williams, therefore, my brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. To God be the glory. Jesus is Lord. Jesus say, amen.
Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening, Mayor, and all the community commissioners and the people that run this city, beautiful of Opa-locka. I own an auto repair business in 129 and 42nd Avenue called All Masters Transmissions. And the reason I'm here is because I am asking to see if there is a way to find out what really is going on in our beautiful police department that I've always been counting with, and they always be there. And it's about my friend, Michael Steele, and I remember one day he called me up to help some people that were homeless in a car, in a place they didn't have to eat and all that. And he put a GoFundMe for them and all. And with another officer, they tried to put them back in their way, and he done so many good things for the community. I know him for a while, and I would like just to let you aware, to let you know aware that he's a good man. And so you guys can give him another opportunity, and think about what's going on. I would love to appreciate it. Thank you.
Citizens forum is closed.
Madam Mayor,
So sorry.
still
Thank
have
you.
Commissioner Johnson
Yes,
on the
Commissioner
line.
Johnson, right before the gavel.
Don't give me the gavel, Madam Mayor, please. I don't have the static now, so thank you so much for your patience. My Dottie Johnson, 13724 Northwest 22nd Place in Opa-locka. I would like to strongly suggest that all legislation that impact the quality of life, that we enhance the community involvement. I also would like to commend the city manager. After we bought a group of individual vendors from the Opa-locka flea market, the next day, the manager called and we set up a meeting, and I'm so thankful everything worked out. Kudos to city manager. My question, in the last meeting, I'm still concerned about the reserve funds, the litigation funds that should be a line item. And I was told I was going to provide some information, but I know it's been a very busy couple of weeks. As a member of the audit committee, I was not in support of sunsetting the audit committee because I didn't feel comfortable that we will have all the audits completed by September the 30th, which was told to us by the consultant. I'm concerned. I am in total support bringing Mr. Brunston back because he had the experience and he's worked with us before. However, I see the legislation that is coming in. I did sign up to speak on the ordinance about the roaming animals in our community. We was fested one time with cats, but we, a group of us, went down to Miami-Dade County Commission meeting and we got control. And I think the same young man that spoke earlier, he was involved. And guess what? As of 1990 something, then that property on Northwest 135th Street, Opa-locka Boulevard off of 22nd Avenue, where Presidente store was gonna come, have not been developed as of yet. So be very cautious and make that you have the key element. I am not pointing the finger at anyone. The manager has come in and encountered a lot. And to the president of the union, he has said everything under the anointing. To the citizens that are there, are involved. I was to go out of town because tomorrow I'm celebrating 49 years of wedding. Kudos to me and my man. But I thought it was so fruitful to make sure that you guys think about what you're doing. You pay now or you pay later, but you will pay. May God bless you and have a blessed day. And I look forward to coming back on the ordinance reading.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Brian Dennis. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Brian Dennis, 2140 York Street. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they're of God. Because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Ephesians 5:11 say, have no works. No works with the darkness, but rather expose them. So when we get up here and start quoting scriptures, I don't think it's been nobody quoting scriptures in this city more than me since 1997. In other words, I got 25 years to come to the commission meeting understanding what's going on and what's not going on. I don't think I'm better than anybody else, but we do know when the fruits of wickedness is working inside the city and how things move about. Do believe this though, God will expose it all because light and darkness can't be in the same place.
Okay. Citizens forum is closed. Madam Attorney, item B1.
A resolution, this is 14-1, Madam Mayor. The add-on item.
Yes, 14-1. I'm so sorry. Yes.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, accepting and approving the FY 2019-2020 audited financial statement and annual financial report, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Move it.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis, second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is an add-on item that is important for us to bring to you for your approval. We have finally completed and are ready for you to accept the 2019-2020 audit. And this is the item that we are presenting to you tonight, and we request that you approve it so that we can move forward. And we've already commenced work on our 2021 fiscal year audit.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission? Any questions or comments?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
is the audit firm here tonight to present on the item through the mayor to the manager?
Through the mayor to Commissioner Davis, the tri-merge team that did the bulk of the work on this item is not here tonight. However, Ms. Naima Walker, our finance director, who oversaw all work along with myself, is available to speak to the item. And I request that she come up to answer any questions that you may have.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Naima Walker, Finance Director.
Good evening. I have two questions in particular. The official opinion that was rendered, was it a clean opinion? And also, were there any findings?
Yes, so the opinion was qualified across all funds. And we did have a total of 13 findings, of which 4 were new. All others were repeats.
Okay, thank you. For the sake of time, I won't have you go through the entire report. At least that's not my will. I don't know what the will is of the rest of the commission. But through the mayor to the manager, I would like to see or to have, I guess, a personal meeting to discuss those findings.
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions? So, thank you again, Ms. Walker, for
Yes,
being
ma'am.
here. I heard tri-merge did the bulk. Would that be internally? Did you all do the other, I guess, 20-30%? I don't know what that means, the bulk, but, or did an outside agency complete it?
Sure. So what in percentage, I would say that tri-merge utilized city staff along with their team to produce the document. So I'd say it's more of a 50-50.
Okay.
Yes.
And so are you, in your opinion, in your, your professional opinion, because that's
Mhm.
you're the finance director, our audit is of sound auditing or do we need to have Brunson, our new auditing firm, come up and make a presentation? Because I'm kind of I'm seesawing here.
Okay, so what the Brunson team is doing for the city is providing some internal accounting services
Okay,
to help clean up, address those findings
got it.
so that our
Okay.
financial statements are in line with where they should be, so that the external auditor, Markham LLP, can come through and have a more successful time completing the audit for us
Okay,
for 21.
I think, and that's what I meant, Markham.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any other questions?
Quick question, Ms. Walker, I'm sorry. To the manager. The last couple pages, those are the findings, am I correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right. Which is the 13, and I think
Starting-
you put next
starting-
to the ones that are repeat, the ones that say. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to state that although Tri-Merge did commence and start with this process, the finance director, as I stated before, and myself have overseen every step of the way. We have been responsive to Markham, our external audit team. We have reviewed their findings and have reviewed the work product.
okay, thank you
Okay.
so much, Ms. Walker. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open on this item. Believe former Commissioner Johnson wants to speak on the item.
Hello? Madam Mayor?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. My concern, and really, I don't know, is this your fourth or fifth amendment on the budget? Can you hear me?
Former Commissioner. Yes, we can hear you. To speak on the item.
Hello? Hello? I'm ready. Madam Mayor?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. My concern, as one of your speakers has already said, I'm concerned about the litigation funds and the risk management funds. Because I've seen so many people terminated and they are bought back, and that's costing the budget. I'm ready. So I need someone to explain to me, what is that process? I'm not pointing the fingers, but something is not connecting. I'm concerned about the litigation funds and the risk management funds, because I've seen so many people terminated and they're bought back, and that's called budget. I'm ready. So I need someone to explain to me, what is that process? I'm not pointing the fingers, but something is not connecting.
Ms. Johnson, we're on item 14.1, I believe yours.
People terminated. Does this not have to do with the budget? So I need someone to explain to me.
Oh,
Okay. Am I in the wrong arena?
yeah, so it looks like you're streaming it from YouTube. And it's
I'm
giving
not
us a
streaming.
delay, but we're on item 14.1. I believe you're speaking on a different item right now. So we'll come back to you.
Okay, but that's not my MO to stream to no one, so sorry it's being perceived as that. It's on the very lowest volume, which is 2 on my iPad. We're on item 14.1.
Okay.
Okay, but that's not my MO. Sorry.
Okay, public hearing is open on this item. Public hearing is closed. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Madam Attorney, item B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 3, Section 22-61 of the Land Development Regulations to include provision for certificates of reoccupancy, providing for regulations, providing for penalties, providing for adoption of representations, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on October the 5th, and this item is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move and discuss item 16B1?
Move.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Mr. Manager, if you can please introduce the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this is an ordinance as the second reading. This was an interdepartmental effort, so I would like to call our Director of Planning and Community Development, Mr. Gregory Gay, and also our Manager of our Code Enforcement Department, Ms. Wilma Wilcox.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission, Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development, along with Wilma Wilcox with Code Enforcement. We presented this item before you at the last meeting regarding the recertification of residential properties within the city of Opa-locka to allow for them to be brought up into code if there are any code violations on these particular properties, and making sure that the properties that are being sold within our city meet the standards that would be most presentable for properties, whether they're new or whether they're rehab. We want to make sure that they are of high standard and quality for the residents of the city of Opa-locka. If you have any questions, we'll address them at this time.
Madam Mayor.
Who was that? Who? I heard Madam Mayor, but I don't know.
That
who
was
it
me.
Oh, give me 1 second. I'm open public hearing and then we'll come back. It's a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, that you remember the public hearings have to be open first. Thank you very much. Again, Mayors and Commissioner and Mr. Luis Santiago for 1156 Perry Street in Opa-locka. I remember that I'm be here for the first reading. And one of the things tonight that I want to ask in the chamber tonight and to the manager for the great city of Opa-locka is to something similar about what Commissioner Daddy Johnson say, that we deserve to know everything, okay, that is going on in the city, especially when we're gonna have an ordinance into that type that is gonna creating a fee or is gonna creating some confuse for resident owners here in the great city of Opa-locka. Tonight, what I asking is to amending to do that another day and giving the opportunity to the people for the city, the owners, resident, to have a meeting with the manager, okay, and to have some explanation, okay, about the ordinance, okay, and let it know us. We know from the moment I know that it's good. I don't say that it's something that is wrong, and many cities have it, but we don't have all the information about it. And what we try to do is avoid any future confusion or problem, okay, that sometimes people creating in the city. Please, as we asking tonight, or many of the residents that we came in front of the chamber, we asking you, okay, for the opportunity to be with, well, you know, with the manager or with the staff in maybe in a small workshop with you to learn about that ordinance. Thank you, Madam Mayors and Commissioner.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we have Commissioner Johnson who wanted to speak on this item.
Let me open. Public hearing is open. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. I tried to meet with as many citizens on this concern as possible. But I'd strongly suggest to the commission to try to have as many community engagement activities as possible. 42%, according to Miami-Dade County statistics, are new movers in. A lot of them don't really know where to go. A lot of people are into what they're doing now, and most of the individuals saying they're not getting return calls. I try to offset with more awareness in the beginning so that you can have buy-in from all the citizens. So I strongly suggest, if that's your ruling on it, to amend, I think that was Commissioner Santiago, to amend to incorporate more community engagement focus group meeting and have it from A to Z. Once you do that, have it on the website or have a contact person that can also relate the same music from the same sheet. Yes, you have to tell your story, but until you get buy-in, I don't think it's going to work completely. Kudos to the one that believe, and let's get the job done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public hearing is closed. Okay. Mr. Gay and I believe Ms. Wilcox, you all were up. We had some questions. Vice Mayor Taylor.
I was going to say the same thing I said last meeting, that there's a misunderstanding about this particular ordinance. So I think there needs to be an explanation, because what's being proffered is not what the residents understand. So, Mr. Manager, if we can either tonight give an explanation, or if not, then defer the item. But a lot of the residents don't understand it because they're thinking one thing. And we heard that last week, that they think it's an ordinance to allow code enforcement to just come in and out of their property when they want to. So if we can get either defer it and workshop it, or maybe give an explanation, a detailed explanation tonight, so that the residents can feel comfortable before they leave, because that's why they're here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for the question. As has been stated before, this particular ordinance is to deal with the transaction of properties. That's when properties are for sale. It does not deal with having code enforcement just arbitrarily come into anyone's property at any point in time to make an inspection. It is only during the process of the time period when a property is being sold. It is focused on single family and duplex properties that are under private ownership. That is the only time that this particular inspection, and the inspection will not be done by code enforcement. The inspection will be done by the minimum housing standard officer of the city of Opa-locka, who has just been, that particular person is charged to make sure that the minimum standards for the housing to meet those particular qualities are being met. We don't want to sell substandard housing to new homeowners in the city of Opa-locka. If Ms. Wilma has anything to add to that.
I would like to just give you the internal process so that hopefully everyone can understand from the beginning to the end the process. And the process is the license department accepts the application, okay, with the payment. All the permits will be confirmed for the said property by permit section code enforcement. We would then, of course, check for the permits to see if they have any on record for the work that we may have found. The housing inspector, not code enforcement, the housing inspector will contact the realtor or the seller to conduct the inspection. It would not be code enforcement. Inspections was focused on no illegal construction, no build outs. They must meet the setback requirements and life safety compliance. This is what this whole process is about. The lien compliance will be, we give them 30 to 90 days to comply with the violations and possibly the payment. So we're working with them to make sure everything goes smoothly. We provide the lien company notice of a certificate of occupancy at that process when the process is done. And then at the end, we note that the certificate of pre-occupancy is required prior to the sale of the transaction with any property located within the city of Opa-locka. This process is mainly to protect new owners. We see this each and every day where properties are conveyed, transferred, sold
quick sales, and then the people get caught up with $1 million of liens, not even knowing, because there's no way to track it. This is merely a tracking system through the city of Opa-locka to protect the new owners that are transferring properties or selling properties or buying the properties.
Madam Mayor?
Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes, my question is, how are you going to keep track of the houses that are being sold between the realtor and the owners? Are you going to hire staff to be in charge of this particular item? Because it seems to me that, how are you going to really track this? How are you going to?
Sorry, Commissioner Dominguez, we have a lien department within the code enforcement section. And most of the time, 90% of the time, when properties are being transferred, they do request a lien search. So that is one way of us tracking these properties, because it has to come through the code enforcement department to give them the actual numbers on the liens. So at that point, on this document that we have prepared, that will be on there to all realtors, to all title companies. Prior to any transfer of property or closing, you must do this process. So that is a way of us tracking it through code enforcement in the building department.
But what if it's a new house and it doesn't have any?
This
liens?
has nothing to do with new homes. It's not new
So it's
construction, it's not
basically
part of it.
properties that have, because you see, that's why it's important to have it explained better if it's workshop. That way the residents will understand better, because you have issues that a lot of these residents don't speak the language and they don't understand what it's meant. They just see that they feel like they're just gonna come and just, you have to do an application, but they're not understanding.
Mhm.
So I really feel that maybe it should be a workshop or something to that effect, so they can understand the process.
That's fine.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
under my administration, we always provide workshops for every new legislation. As we've recently just done with the new boating ordinance. We have provided a notice to every single owner of a boat within the city of Opa-locka that this new law is now on the books. We are now in the process of setting up a workshop for residents to come and ask us questions, get their feedback before the legislation goes into place on January 1st. It is my intention to should this pass, it's my intention to provide this exact same format with this legislation as with all other legislation, so that the residents understand it before any type of enforcement action takes place.
Any other questions?
Madam
Commissioner Davis?
Attorney, I'm sorry. City Manager. I've heard what my colleagues have said. I've also heard what the residents have said. I've also heard what Ms. Wilcox and Mr. Gay have said. My suggestion would be that we workshop this even before. So when it's done, it's done. We don't have to revert back into anything. I think we should workshop it first, bring it back, vote on it, and move forward. That would be my suggestion.
Absolutely, Commissioner. If that's the will of the commission, we will set up a workshop for the proposal of this legislation.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, before we close the conversation, I just have one question. When a new owner purchases a home, like Ms. Wilcox said, is usually the responsibility of the owner to do a liens search, title search, that sort of thing, to uncover any liens. What would be the benefit of the city taking on that responsibility? Like why do we, and I'm sure probably other cities are doing it, but like what reasoning, what was the thought process that came into that decision?
Commissioner Davis, the city's not taking on a responsibility that's already taking place as a part of the transaction. This is something that basically is giving better assurance that those particular things that are checked off will be checked off as a part of the transaction. We know that there's other transactions that occur, like quick claims, that in some cases, because it is a direct transaction, those particular items don't get checked off. So by having this process in place, that will at least give some more assurance to the new property owner that the property is in a good condition to be moved into and enjoy life. So it meets the building code requirements and those minimum housing standards. So that's what we're trying to achieve through this particular process.
And the cost of implementing this, obviously, we're using a minimum housing standard officer to carry out that responsibility, which is already existing and budgeted position. Do we anticipate any additional costs to implement this program?
We do not.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Guy. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So the will of the commission is to workshop the item. Personally, I think the item is good to go. That's my personal opinion. I also believe it's, to workshop the item after it is passed so that everyone understands, just like the boat ordinance, what they need to do. The longer we wait, the more the city will have to incur residents that are trying to move into our city and buy property and then discover a house has $1 million lien that they didn't even know was on there. And so, and I know of such citizen now that is trying to buy one of the historic homes, and that is what's happening. And it's unfortunate because that's what we want. We want to build home ownership in our city, and to bring new residents in and to, expand. So when we're talking about quick claim deeds and as is for cash property, that's the stuff that hurts communities, and it hurts our community. And unfortunately, when you do those behind door, back door transactions, those are the things that we as a city lose out on gaining or recouping the liens or some of the lien from that property owner or previous 20, 30, 40-year property owners. And here we have this one person that's trying to move into our city, be a Opa-lockian, and this one thing is now blocking them. And this is happening. This isn't like a new thing. This is happening. And I appreciate you all, Mr. Gay and Ms. Wilcox, bringing this item. The will of the commission is to workshop it, but personally, I would prefer to vote on it tonight. Thank you. Are you pulling it?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, the item is pulled. Madam Attorney, item 16B2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving and adopting the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency's proposed general operating and tax increment fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023, as set forth in Exhibit A, directing the Executive Director or designee to transmit a copy of said budget to Miami-Dade County, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for severability, providing for conflict and repealer clause, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on October the 5th, 2022, and this is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move and discuss agenda item 16B2? Moved by Commissioner Bass, second by Commissioner Davis. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you all are aware, we are continuing to get our house in order with our CRA as we are mobilizing with several projects, including the rental assistance program, the mortgage assistance program, and the small business grants. In order to do that, we have to have our fiscal and financial house in order. This is an item, it's its second reading, and we're looking under the CRA to submit this budget to Miami-Dade County and are seeking your approval to do so.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission or comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Item 16B3.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take necessary certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on October the 12th, and this is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move and discuss item 16B3? Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor, second by Commissioner Bass. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. And I believe Ms. Johnson is on the line for this item.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks again. I just learned something very interesting that I never heard of before, that the city of Opa-locka have a lien department. My question, where can I find that numbers that relate to that department? How many people are in that department? And when was the staffing posted? I've never heard of an additional responsibility not costing anything. What line item can I find the litigation funds, reserve funds, and the risk management? My concern is that each of the administration that comes in under city manager, we hire, we fire, we bring them back. It is costing someone money. And when I say someone, I'm more concerned with the taxpayers. So I need some clarification. And many of the individuals, I've gotten over 20 texts since we've been on. And I'm a little concerned. You may not have the audience there, but it appears that individuals are streaming in and they're hearing remarks. I really want to know more about the lien department, because if I should happen to sell my house, I can go to Miami-Dade County and get the information. And from 2016, I'm still aware that all records are not on file. Can someone please answer me tonight or get back to me ASAP? Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Okay. Public hearing is open for this item.
Ario Lundy, 14911 Duval Street. First of all, I'm in Opa-locka in the Triangle building houses. There's a lot of houses inside there that needs to be torn down. There's a lot of crack houses in there that needs to be torn down. I'm trying to restructure the neighborhood. If y'all don't put liens on these places and stuff like that, how are we going to be able to break it down to make the area a lot better for people to come in there and live? Now I got police officers in there because I'm putting pressure on people now to get in there and put those liens in those places. You need to keep moving forward like what we're doing. If I cannot get those houses broken down inside there, we're not going to move the area forward. We're not going backwards. We're going forward. So what you have to do in there right now, like we're trying to break down a house in there now that harbors nothing but drug users. So the main thing is to get that breaking down so we can help those people inside that go to Here's Help or somewhere and put liens on those people places, because the neighborhood is not going anywhere without putting those liens there. So the first thing we have to do in the neighborhood to revitalize is put liens in places on places to make these people start cooperating with the administration in the city. First of all, I'm building now. I'm revitalizing. I see it. I understand what's going on in the community right now. So what I'm doing now, trying to bring police officers, teachers, and the right people in that area in the back there. So my main concept right now is to get liens on those places inside there, to give them a warning. If they don't want to stand the warning, leave it. Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Manager, did you speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to start by addressing as the will of commission has already requested, I shall address the citizens' complaints. I will start with Commissioner Santiago.
Wait, hold on. We're on item 3.
Oh, I thought you said city manager's report.
No.
My apologies. So yes, Madam Mayor, this item is regarding to the changes in that are required that we report to you when we are exceeding or changing anything in our budgets. As far as our expenditures, I would like to request that our budget administrator, Mr. Anathan, be made available to answer any questions regarding any specific line items, and I remain available to answer any general questions.
Evening, Mr. Anathan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Bob Anathan, Budget. I'd just like to make a couple quick comments, if I may, put this in context. I'm approaching, this is my 3rd year here, approaching my 3rd year. This is my 3rd year of year-end budget amendments. For those of you who've been on the dais before, a year-end budget amendment is full of a lot of October surprises, which involve big numbers and a lot of work to be done. You can see in front of you tonight, it's a very small package. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, had 19 items in it. I've added 9 more items that have come up, that things have come across, have not changed anything at all materially, with the exception of one line item, which is the line item having to do with leave payout. Other than that, everything's very small. I think the fact that this is such a small budget amendment is a very strong indication of the amount of budget discipline that's in place this year that has been lacking in past years. And I think it's a very good sign as we go forward. Other than that, I'm ready to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Anathan.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. And the manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As is the will of commission, I will first address comments from our citizens. I will start with former Commissioner Santiago regarding his statements regarding the smoke testing that was done by our Public Works Department. We are fully aware of the concerns. We look forward to addressing those. We did have a contractor to go out to our citizens to inform them that this was going to be happening. We are going to actually put further things in place to further provide additional notice to our residents, because we understand that no one wants to be concerned that their house may be on fire. I'd also request that our Director of Public Works, Mr. Ari Austin, come to discuss the additional work that we are doing and put in place to address this particular concern.
Good afternoon, Aria Austin, Public Works Director. In hindsight, we feel that the notification provided by our third-party vendor was a little in advance, too in advance for our residents. Moving forward, we plan on publicizing this event on our Opa TV, on We're gonna do a red alert as well, and throughout the neighborhood, we'll place placards reminding the residents of the forthcoming smoke testing. We hope that our next occurrence, which is approximately 5 years from now, unless we have deficiencies in our system, will go off without a hitch. And again, we apologize for the unfavorable conditions that were experienced by our residents.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. And
Ma-
I'd like to again
have a
acknowledge
question.
this. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a
Yes.
question. Yes, through the manager. I'd like to know, when was this advertised and what company was used?
Enviro Waste was the company that conducted the testing. And 1 week prior to the testing that occurred, it occurred several days in a row. We advertised, we also had to notify the Department of Durham that the testing was going to be taking place. We notified our fire department, local fire departments of the testing. Like I said, we think it was done a little too far in advance, and we will use other means to alert the residents.
So you say it was done through Enviro Waste. My question was, when was it done? When was it advertised?
1 week prior to the actual events. Flyers were handed out to the affected areas. They had to test several systems in the city. So for each system, a week in advance, the flyers were handed out.
Yeah, because I got a lot of calls and they were telling me that there were smoke coming out of their roofs, out of their toilets. I mean, it was scary, so
Yeah.
I just hope that we do better as far as letting the residents know regarding any kind of testing that's going to be done. Because they said it was really scary what happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Next, I'd like to address the comments of Ms. Pruitt. As you all are aware, she is becoming a staple. And as we gathered her first complaint regarding the issues with the house in her neighborhood, we mobilized our police force. Appreciate her acknowledging that. And we addressed the issue head on and got it taken care of. With regard to the canal banks, we will mobilize our Public Works Department immediately to ensure that the paper is picked up because that is on city-controlled property. With regard to the trash bags at Family Dollar, I am aware of the trash bags at the Family Dollar, and that is actually on private property. And I will be submitting our code enforcement department to go and address that issue. Next, I'd like to address the comments of former Commissioner Dottie Johnson with regard to lien department. I believe that's a bit of a misnomer. The city has always taken part of liens. There's not actually a lien department, but there are duties and responsibilities that are the purview of already existing employees that are in the code enforcement department. With regard to legal liabilities, litigation and risk management, I will request a meeting with former Commissioner Dottie Johnson to cover any of her issues regarding these matters and the budget in a private meeting. With regard to the matter that was brought by two residents regarding the termination of Captain Steele, I will address head on and then request that Chief Scott Israel come and speak on behalf of the police department and the 22 officers that were present tonight.
Mr. Manager, I would just ask you if you not do that, just in case there may be litigation associated with it. We would not want in the public domain personnel decisions that may have been made by the city through your leadership.
Thank you.
It's just my request.
Thank you. I appreciate that recommendation, Madam Attorney. I will only be making statements that would be a part of the public record that would be available and accessible should anybody make a request. So this is a public record document that is available to anyone in or outside the city. Should they request this item, it would be available to them through our clerk's office. An investigation was as required by our policies and procedures. We had a majority of our police department. We have 40, at the time we had 43 sworn. We had 22 officers come and file complaints. I will just read the conclusion from the investigator. Following my investigation, including interviews and review of the complaints and additional material provided to me, I have grave concerns regarding legal implications of returning Captain Steele to the department and recommend termination. As an initial matter, Captain Steele's actions towards certain individuals were retaliatory in nature. For the officers who made complaints against them, Sergeant Steele in 2019, it is clear that Captain Steele used his position to retaliate against them by affecting the terms and privileges of their employment. Captain Steele further used his position to retaliate against officers who previously supervised him. Secondly, Captain Steele's specific actions against the Black male officers in the department exposed the city to potential discrimination and retaliation claims. Should these officers decide to file charges of discrimination and pursue a lawsuit, there could be sufficient evidence to support such claims. Third, the city risks losing up to half of its police force if Captain Steele is returned to his employment, even if returned turned into a lower rank. A mass resignation could be catastrophic for the city's already understaffed department. Finally, a review of certain information provided to me revealed that Captain Steele's eligibility for employment, specifically his eligibility to become a police officer, could be brought into question. Should this evidence be verified, the city will have grounds for immediate termination despite the findings, even those discussed above. This was, as all decisions of termination are, this is never an easy decision for any city manager, I imagine. The deliberation on this was months as we looked through every opportunity available to address these certain concerns. And we understand how sensitive a matter is, and it is not a matter that was taken lightly. And I'll now turn the floor over to our Chief of Police, Scott Israel.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Mayor, if I may. Madam Mayor, if I may. Good. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask the will of the commission, if you don't mind, because I have a city attorney saying one thing, you're saying I'm a little uncomfortable right now. I want to make sure that whatever happens is tight, and I don't want any statements to come out that could come back to bite us. So I'm gonna, if I need each commission member to let me know if we're okay to move forward or how you want to with, and Chief, you're the only one that's gonna speak, correct?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, no one's, okay, I think we're good. All right, thank you.
Madam Mayor, thank you for allowing me to speak before the dais tonight. Vice Mayor, thank you. Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Dominguez, Commissioner Davis, thank you. This is a very important message I bring on behalf of the men and women that I work with every day. Vice Mayor Taylor, we saw one of the most horrific acts in police work a few years back in Minneapolis when we saw a man have the life squeezed out of him by a police officer. It was horrific. It's something we'll all never forget. But myself and many law enforcement professionals have said, Commissioner Bass, that this is an aberration. This isn't what most police officers do. Madam Mayor, if you had an occasion to watch Channel 10 a night or two ago, one of our Opa-locka citizens was on the news talking about the restraint and the dignity that we showed a man armed with a handgun. Our officers were incredible, the poise, the courage that they used. Yeah, it's a reflection on us. You are very supportive of our officers. We have hopefully a contract coming. I've gone to each and every one of your events. I see how you approach our officers, each one of you commissioners. There's a love and appreciation, and I thank you for that, and it's deserved. These men and women have to be protected. Their rights have got to be brought forward. And that's what I'm here to do tonight. That's just simply that. When a pastor spoke earlier this evening, you could tell he was a man of honor. And when he spoke of Mr. Steele, he said, and the record will reflect, I don't know what happened, but, and I appreciate his honor in saying that. When a man came up to speak about Mr. Steele, he said, this is my friend. And I appreciate that. I've only spoken to Mr. Steele twice, maybe 3 times in my life. I don't really know him. If you all know him and he's a friend or a good person, I can't argue or debate that. But I can tell you that, as the Bible tells us, some of the most dangerous people on earth, Vice Mayor Taylor, Mayor Williams, are wolves in sheep's clothing. And that is exactly what Michael Steele is. What he's done to the men and women behind me, the autocratic way, his wrath, his
Chief.
reign of, yes.
Chief,
Oh,
Chief, I'm going to ask that you not make personal statements.
We're gonna,
Yes.
Chief,
Okay. I will
I'm
tell.
go- I'm gonna, with all due respect, I just want to make sure everything we do is decent and in order. And it just kind of went left a little bit there.
I'm sorry, Madam
So
Mayor.
I know you are. I know you
I'm
are.
passionate about this.
Yes,
And
I know you
I
are.
apologize to you, the manager and the commission.
Of course. One thing I will say is thank you, all of you standing here, for the work that you do each and every day in our city. I brave men and women. But what I'm gonna do, with all due respect, is pause right there so that we're gonna just end this part so that we can make sure everything legally happens the right way, right? So if you all don't mind, I'm just gonna put a pin in the statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam
And
Mayor.
again, thank you all for all the work you do.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And for a final item to address, a letter was submitted to the clerk's office regarding my personal background. The statement as it reads says, shame on you, Opa-locka, for not doing a background check on this manager. He has a felony charge and running the city. He can't be trusted with city money. Beware, he needs to go. For the record, I'd like to address the comments made herein. I'll start generally by saying I am a former military intelligence officer of the United States Army Department of Defense 313th Military Intelligence Battalion in 82nd Airborne Division. I hold a TS-SCI, which is the highest possible security clearance that can be held in our armed forces. I have run multi-million-dollar companies. I have run a consulting company that is in charge of finances and finance administration for over 30 medical clinics here in South Florida. The first item here is not sure why it's here, but is an item regarding a vehicle that was leased by a company that I owned. I sold the company, submitted the car back, and the leasing company charged the company for the entire vehicle. I'd also like to say regarding the next two items, I have never been convicted of a crime. And these first two items are personal matters, but now that they're in the public record, I will address them. As was already been made aware, given that all city managers are required to conduct a background check at the time of employment. The second item is an item where there are stalking charges brought against me by Mr. Kevin Fannin, and stalking charges that I brought against Mr. Kevin Fannin. They were dual stalking charges. This is a personal matter. Mr. Fannin is the ex-husband of my fiance, and altercation occurred where I was being followed, and I confronted him regarding that matter. We both submitted stalking. He called the police. We both submitted stalking charges against each other. Those charges were dropped. Neither Mr. Fannin nor myself was convicted of a crime. The third and final item is a matter of an arrest for grand theft auto. We all have family members who have struggled, and I am not indifferent to that situation. I had a family member who I purchased a vehicle for that was court ordered to seek substance abuse treatment and or be arrested and incarcerated. I demanded that this family member seek substance abuse treatment. They refused. I told them that I would come and retrieve the vehicle if they did not seek treatment. They refused. I flew to Knoxville, Tennessee, my hometown, retrieved the vehicle and drove it back to Miami, Florida. This family member called Miami-Dade County Police and with the claim that I had stolen their vehicle. I was arrested and was released, and the charges were dropped when I was able to prove that I actually purchased the vehicle. That addresses all of the three issues of the packet that was submitted to the clerk's office. All of these are private and personal matters that have nothing to do with my ability to run this city. My grave concern is the validity and weight that rumors are provided here in the city of Opa-locka. And it is my hope that we continue to put people on this dais or have people on this dais that are truth seekers and understand the damage that lies, rumors, and innuendos can do to people's character and do to them personally. I stand by my record in the months that I've been here. When we look at the collections, the numbers speak for themselves. This administration has passed the $1 million mark for old debts dating back beyond 2015. We have collected in 6 months more than any previous administration ever has in the history of the city. This administration is the first time that every single employee of the city has had a performance evaluation. That's how we stop these lawsuits. That's how we stop unfair treatment. That's how we stop discriminate treatment. It's through performance evaluations, giving people an understanding of what the city's expectations of them and reward them where they're doing well and assist them where they're not. It is my administration that has put forward the Affordable Housing Initiative, which is looking to bring 360 affordable homes to the city of Opa-locka within the next 36 months, which will provide the city with over $100 million in development and hundreds of jobs for our residents. It's my administration, as Mr. Dennis has pointed out, and previous administrations have failed to require that developers hire Opa-locka residents. That is something that the city of Opa-locka is doing now, and we will continue to do moving forward. Every single developer that comes to our city now signs a developer agreement that requires them to do jobs training and host job fairs so that the residents of the city of Opa-locka get first dibs to the jobs that they are bringing to our community. It is my administration that has put forward the Opa-locka Open for Business initiative, where we highlight a new business every single month, and we are helping them to sustain and survive. The first business was DC to Win, which by all accounts, including the owner, was struggling and floundering. They're now flourishing with over $10,000 in additional revenue and business in the last 6 weeks. That's a result of the promotion that the city of Opa-locka and this commission has put behind. Our second business that we've highlighted was 5K Seafood. They are also now thriving. Their social media presence has increased. Their orders have increased. And our third business we're looking to highlight is our Soccerland business here, where we're going to couple with the World Cup to promote this business here in the city of Opa-locka so that the residents can enjoy it and those that are outside. So I hope to continue to stand on my record and not innuendo. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments to the manager? Okay. Mr. Manager, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
What for 5K and all the other businesses, I would have liked to have seen the same fanfare that the other restaurants received, especially since we also have restaurants, Curly's and Jackson's, and didn't receive that same fanfare. So we know that 5K is a new restaurant. And one of the things that I think as business owners, they want to do is market their business. And they can't market if we don't have ribbon cuttings and the commission, as well as our city staff there in front of their business, taking those pictures to show a united front that was afforded for DC to Win, but not for 5K. So I want just to make sure that moving forward, we give the same amount of exposure to all restaurants and businesses in our community, to make sure that that they succeed. And that's it.
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. We really struggled with how to best promote, given the limited space that 5K has. So what we did was we created an event here in Sir Bundy Park and invited and paid for all of our employees to come and have lunch so that they have the opportunity. And what I can share with you is that they all love the food. And they have been ordering, and I'm told that they have been continuing to order them for lunch. But we can also organize a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes.
Just for the.
I would appreciate that.
There's not enough space for all the
Well,
employees.
I'm not saying I'm saying a ribbon cutting, and you weren't here. We were at one at the gas station, if you recall, that opened on 27th Avenue, and it was great. It was a great event, and it was the commission and community, and it wasn't where we're saying go in and eat there, but we're saying we're here, we're showing a partnership. So having us standing in front of their restaurant, us as a united front, having our city leaders cutting a ribbon in front, not Sir Bundy, but in front of their restaurant is what I would like to see.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Any other for the manager? Okay. Any official board reports? Madam Clerk,
No, Madam Mayor.
thank you. Any future agenda items? Okay, thank you. Moving into mayor commission reports.
Madam
Anyone?
Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. Just wanted to announce that Monday, October 31st, the City of Opa-locka Parks and Recreation Department, along with the Booster Club, will be hosting this annual Halloween party, and I'm glad to host it. And just want to invite the community out. It's a family fun event. And we're gonna have refreshments and activities for the entire family. So just encouraging the community to participate in a safe environment on that night. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay. I want to first congratulate everyone. We had a recent debate and it was great. It was well organized and put on. And so I just want to, everyone that participated from the commission to the mayor and commissioners segments. It was really great. And I just want to congratulate everyone that participated. Also, want to congratulate you, Commissioner Bass, for a few things that you've done in the community, specifically the baby shower event. I'm saying baby shower, but it's in Glorietta Gardens. Am I right? Is that where we, yes. Cordova. Thank you, Cordova. I mean, I did it, walking into it and I was briefly, well, I was a little late, but it was so well organized. It was so well put together and the residents absolutely loved it. And I hope and pray that this is something that you continue to do and, throughout Opa-locka and spread that same love around. So thank you for that event. And it really touched my heart because I do know how important Pampers and wipes are. Also, I want to thank the city staff and everyone that put together the pink breast cancer brunch. It was really great. Thank you. And thank you for the haters too that showed up. But thank you all that had, for the good. Yeah, because you always gonna have haters that show up to your event and talk stuff. But thank you for, for just the event. It was so great. And I appreciate the goal, of course, is to continue to make sure not just in the month of October, but every month we push and we recognize survivors of breast cancer and never forget those that we lost. And last but not least, Mr. Manager, I support you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
this is not my event, but I will mention it. I had the opportunity to go at Shabundi. We visited Shabundi for the gun buyback program. And that was my very first one. And I saw guns that were this big, that big, ancient. And it was something to behold. And I can recall one of the officers saying to me that it doesn't matter, I'm paraphrasing, doesn't matter what a gun looks like, it still has a potential to be dangerous. So that was a lesson learned to me. I would just hope that going forth on our next gun buyback program, that we have more participants. Whatever's necessary for us to get the word out there, working with our PRP persons, making that robocalls, whatever it takes, so we can get some more guns off the street. And again, that was my first one. It was impressive to me. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
real quick, I just want to thank our Public Works Police Department Management Office, City Clerk's Office for helping with our Hispanic Heritage Festival that took place a couple Sundays ago. So thank you for a job well done. Also, I want to announce that on this Sunday, our police department is being honored by the county in the Heroes Parade and is happening in the city of Miami at the FTX Arena. So it's the Heroes Parade that our Daniela Levine Carver, the county mayor, is putting on. So it's a family event. Me and Chief Israel went to the press conference. We got all the details and the city is ready and we are going to shine on Sunday at 11 o'clock. So tell everybody, Opa-locka, come down to the FTX Arena. We have food, it's food and parade and bounce houses and a carnival, I think, or something like that. And meet us at FTX Arena on this Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank all the participants and the people that came for the Hispanic Heritage event that was done here. The residents enjoyed themselves. They had a great time. And it seemed like the officers they were even asking me if they were gonna do a calendar because the residents who loved them so much that they were just taking pictures with them and saying, they were like, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But they really enjoyed themselves and it was a great event. And thank you so much for those that came and participated, and especially the officers that came to and showed up. Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Pass.
to our city manager, maybe we should consider a calendar for our officers.
Madam Mayor. You all have busted the surprise again, but that is in the works.
Very nice. So I know, I've already spoke. I'm gonna jump back over here. They're down here packing up, so they just gotta wait. I just wanted to ask, Mr. Manager, can you let me know, no, I'm sorry, Madam Attorney, where are we with the open storage legislation?
Yes, Madam Mayor. We immediately started meeting after this was passed as a future agenda item. When I say we, that's the legal department and community planning and development. And the idea was because we realized that nuisance is mentioned not only in the land development regulations, but also in the city code. And it's a little bit all over the place. And we talked about bringing it under one section. And also the bigger issue was trying to get it possibly like some cities have it on the tax rolls. So there will be an ordinance every year that would go to the property appraiser's office, and they would actually have to have it approved for the tax rolls. So it's a little bit of a process that takes place. So our understanding from the many meetings that we had was that community planning and development, they had at some point identified a contact and they were trying to reach out to that contact and advised recently that nobody ever responded. And so I took it upon myself, called, was able to reach that contact, and that contact has given another person that we need to speak with about the issue. Apparently, the city of Coral Gables has also made the same inquiry, and they are referring us to whoever is heading up that process. It's moving a little slower. I mean, obviously, and I mentioned to you before, Madam Mayor, it will be very easy to push something forward, and we're happy to do that if that is the will. But what it would be very easy to push something forward and just push the open storage ordinance is pretty much something prepared already. We could do that, but we were really looking to try to do something a little bit more comprehensive that may have a lasting impact on the city in a positive way. In this case, we also realized that there are some issues right now with not only how things are being collected and credited to the right departments, but also issues with respect to just how nuisance is just dealt with in the city. And so we have had some meetings with code enforcement, which was very, very helpful to try to help with structuring a nuisance abatement ordinance that would include the open storage issue in addition to some other things that are not working right now within the code. But to address your issue, we could actually have this on at the very next meeting, but we have been looking to try to make it something more comprehensive that would be lasting again. And that has been the intent. That's what we have been trying to work to do and work towards doing. And there has been, and it's a lot, it's a lot to try to put your arms around because there's a lot of things that are not working as well as they could. So we have been trying to identify that, but I did, Mr. Gay and I have been kind of going back and forth an email, and I think where we are now is if it is the will to just, push the legislation or something forward on the next agenda, we're certainly in the position to do that, but we were really looking to do something more long-term and something that would be more beneficial to the city rather than just kind of putting a Band-Aid on something and knowing that the process right now is not working internally.
Thank you so much, Madam Attorney. No, it's not my will to push something forward just to have it on the books. I do want to make sure it is something comprehensive. However, after reviewing several emails, there's a breakdown somewhere in the system because this legislation has, I don't know, a year. I don't know how long it's been. And interesting enough, until I ask is when I get an answer, and mainly from you, Madam Attorney. So I would like, Mr. Manager, if I can have an immediate Zoom with you and Mr. Gay and the city attorney so that I can get some clear answers. Because there's something going on. Someone is dropping the ball that we're not getting this legislation done. And this is a legislation that, quite frankly, is going to help everyone in this city, specifically with beautification. And we talk about beautification, we talk, but we gotta do, there has to be action. So I would like an immediate meeting, Mr. Manager, so that I can know, because I'm seeing within the structure, something is happening. And I need to make sure that if there's going to be a comprehensive plan, it needs to happen. But I don't want anything thrown together so that it's on the books and then we walk away from it. I want to make sure it happens. And even if it has something to do with the fines, we got to fix that system. So to me, it sounds like there's all these systems that we need to fix in order to make that one thing better. So if we got to do it, then we need to do it. Mr. Gay, your office, again, emails, but things need to happen a little bit faster. So thank you. Madam Clerk, any official board appointments?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just one quick announcement.
Oh, sure.
We just finished today, after meeting with our ARPA consultants, putting the final touches on the ARPA meeting that was scheduled for this Saturday. We begin distributing flyers today. We will have 8 items for the residents to vote on that are the will of the commission, which include the gateways restoration, the fire station restoration, small business grants, mortgage assistance, Siegel and Ingram Park renovation, tree planting, median and swells, artscape beautification program, and rent assistance. Our residents will have the opportunity this Saturday to be presented each one of these items, vote on all of them, and the top 4 will move forward to selection to be funded with the ARPA.
Mr. Manager, ARPA has been on my radar since day one. Why did we wait so late to bring this workshop for Saturday and today's Wednesday? We're not getting the residents enough time. We're not.
If it be the will of the commission, we can push this we can push this ARPA meeting back.
Yes, and then the PR firm that we have, are they?
They are not engaged yet, sir.
So can we move forward? Because this is just, I mean, we did everything to make sure that firm, and now they're done. Like, what, we gotta have some, like, what are we doing? Because we have residents out here that are saying they don't know what's going on. We have to get the communication out better. If we can't do that, then we need to, hire a consultant so that we can use that consultant until we have a firm. But we gotta do, like, the marketing in the city is just not, is stale. And with all due respect, Mr. Manager, you're actually pulling a lot of the marketing weight yourself, you and your team, and you shouldn't have to. So, I mean, my suggestion is for you to, use someone if you have to, but how do we move forward? Like, I don't. We gotta do something. Yeah,
I agree.
So if it be the will of the commission, I would like to start funding flyers to the residents. Right now, as I've entered into the city, the only form of media that we have is posting to Facebook. We've got, and until the firm can increase our social media presence, get our YouTube page more active, and add us with the Instagram page and bring us into the new millennia, we need to put something in their hands. It's going to be a very expensive undertaking, but I am just frustrated as the commission is. If it be the will of commission, I would like to start funding flyers to the residents.
But I think what we're saying is, well, I guess what I'm saying is we need to get a consultant, a temporary consultant to do this work, not just, I get the flyers, but we need someone that's going to do the press releases and the manager's office. You just have too much on your plate to take on a marketing job as well, or Joanna, because she does the flyers too. So, I mean,
Absolutely, we will engage a consultant through our procurement process while we're waiting for our new.
See.
Is there anything else, Madam Mayor?
I think what Madam Mayor is saying, and we don't want to belabor the time because our staff is ready to go. Can we look into getting a temporary fix, which is a consultant that can take on the task now?
So
And
I'll
then you
repeat-
can move forward with your procurement, but we need
So-
somebody.
So I'll
ASAP.
repeat again, since it is the will of commission, we will get someone temporarily to stand in the gap. Is there anything else, Vice Mayor? Is there
That's it.
anything else, Madam Mayor?
That's it. Thank you so much.
I said it twice.
So are we gonna push this ARPA?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion moved and second, we are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.